Welcome to another session on Kabbalah, the Dragon, the Priest, and Governments, Part 3. In our last session, we talked about the Kabbalah as being two separate cycles, the cycle of creation and the cycle of assessment. The cycle of creation is representative of Jesus Christ, who is the firstborn of creation, whom nothing was created without his help. So he becomes the symbol of the creation process. On the other side, we have the process of assessment, which is symbolized by the dragon. And the dragon uses 4 different tests to assess us: the test of famine, the test of pestilence, the test of captivity, and the test of the sword or death. Now, when the dragon tests us, it is to see how much fear we have, whether we're afraid of not having enough food, as in the test of famine, or whether we're afraid that we'll get hurt in some kind of way, as in the test of pestilence, or if we're bound by what other people think, and so we're bound by the test of captivity, or if we just are afraid of death, and so we are willing to throw our neighbor under the bus in order not to face certain circumstances. And the dragon tests us through testing our fear. But we also learned that love conquers all fear. Now, but what does that mean, to have love without fear? Does that mean that we cease to fear at all? Well, let's take an example of a snake that has happened to wander into a house. And the people in the house see the snake and they say, "Oh my goodness, there's a snake in the house." And someone else wonders if the snake is poisonous. And all of these things are valid. I mean, if the snake is poisonous, it may very well cause harm to the family. The little child may be bitten, or the dog may die. And so we come up with what has to be done, or the yesit, the law. After we have assessed the situation, we say, hey, the snake has got to go. It cannot stay in the house with us. It's not supposed to be here. And let's say that after they come to that conclusion, the husband goes, gets a nice big shovel, and bashes the snake upside the head. So the snake is now dead. And the family is happy. They have gotten rid of the snake out of the house. But there's something missing from this scenario. When we talk about getting rid of the snake, and when we are going through our assessment process, there's one thing we didn't take into consideration, and that is the perspective of the snake. The snake is in the house because it wants to live. And so if we take the snake's perspective into consideration, maybe instead of bashing the snake over the head, the husband calls a nice service to come out and capture the snake and remove it to some place outside where it won't be a danger to anyone. When we take only our own perspective into consideration, we follow the path of the dragon. Because let's face it, bashing the snake over the head with a shovel takes a lot less energy, a lot less time, planning. It takes a lot less of anything. It just means that we only have to be concerned about me. I only have to be concerned about me. Who cares about anything else? However, if we take every perspective into consideration, we are now following the path of the priest. And the priest is supposed to seek justice. And that's what it means to seek justice, is to take everyone's perspective into consideration before we do anything. And that's what Jesus meant by love your neighbor as yourself. He didn't mean that you needed to go out and put your neighbor above yourself, or have to do things for your neighbor that you wouldn't do for yourself, or sacrifice everything for your neighbor. What he meant is, when we're making assessments, we need to take our neighbor into consideration. Now, the dragon and the priest have basically the same duties in the Bible. The only difference between the two is that a true priest should seek justice. One of the duties of the Levitical priest is to assess what is clean or unclean. And as an example, we have in Leviticus where the priest assesses someone's garment to see if it has a blemish that if you wash it, it doesn't go away, or it spreads. And if it spreads, then the garment must be destroyed. Well, the garment in Judaism is just a symbol for our behavior. It's a symbol for the part of our behavior that's easy to change. It's just like, wearing filthy clothes. You can just strip them off and put some fresh clothes on, and then you're clean, right? It's just an example of that would be in Zechariah, where Yeshua is wearing filthy rags, and Jehovah takes him up and says, hey, I'm snatching him out of the fire, and I'm going to give him clean clothes to put on and a fresh turban to put on his head. Another way that the priest assesses is to look at houses and to see if there is a blemish inside the house. And the same thing happens. If the blemish can't be gotten rid of, the house must be destroyed. And again, we are the house. We are the temple not made with hands that Jehovah's Spirit resides in. And if that blemish can't be gotten rid of, well, Jehovah's Spirit can't live there. And so the house is no good. Another duty that the Levitical priest has is to cleanse Israel through ritual sacrifice and atonement. Now, when we really look at that ritual, we see that when a person sins, they're supposed to bring a sin sacrifice. And they're supposed to take the lamb without blemish, the cow without blemish, the creature without blemish, and kill it. Now, the more sins that you have, the more of these unblemished animals you're going to be killing. And in effect, you're going to wind up with a whole herd of blemished cattle. That is, you're going to have the crap left over and will have killed the good stuff. And that's actually what happens when we sin. We are killing off that which is unblemished, that which is clean. Lastly, the Levitical priests are responsible for creating, interpreting, and enforcing laws. Now, when we talk about laws, we talked about the last time that laws don't create the kingdom. And the reason for that is laws are, first of all, based on assessments. We look at things that are existing in the world and we decide whether or not they're good for us or not. And then we make rules regarding that. Laws don't create anything new. They simply contain and confine what already exists. For example, we could, in our behavior, murder at random or be pedophiles or do a whole bunch of different behaviors. But law says, I don't want you to do all these things that are possible to do. I want you to limit your behavior to this small little circle of approved behaviors. And so it doesn't create anything new. It just sets limits on that which already exists. And therefore, laws can never create the kingdom. They're not designed to. As an example, let's say that we got a pothole in the road, and that pothole is causing people to get flat tires all the time. Now, somebody comes along and they assess this new situation in the road. I mean, it wasn't there yesterday. It's a brand new situation. And so they say, hey, there's a pothole in the road. We got to do something about that. And so they decide that maybe they need to confine people from running over that pothole. So they put up some barriers. And they might put up some signs saying, hey, slow down or whatever. No matter how many rules or different laws they put around that pothole, the one thing that's true is that the laws will never fix the pothole. In order to fix the pothole, we have to go back into the creative cycle and find a method that will get rid of that problem. You cannot legislate the answer or the solution to that problem. If you want to know more about Jewish and Christian symbology, please join us on Facebook, where we talk about symbolism, prophecy, hidden meanings in the Bible, Kabbalah, and Bible philosophy.